Good morning. Thank you for joining me for today's Facebook Live. My name is Tracy Held. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne in Australia. And today I'm going to be playing with more new products. Now, I think that I feel like a bit of a kid where as soon as you get new stuff you have to play with it. It doesn't matter that you've got piles and piles of old stuff. But no, we have to get stuck into the new. This is a new online exclusive that's going to be available from the 5th of March. Last week I was working with the copy one and today is the Zinnias. So let me show you. We have the stamp set. There's matching dies. I haven't played with those yet, but I think that that could be quite interesting just to make flowers. Maybe I'll try that for next time. There's also an embossing folder. And this is a really big, well, it's like your 6x6 inch embossing folder so that you can emboss either for landscape or portrait cards. When you're using this, just bear in mind that it is directional, so just make sure that when you put your paper and you put it that your stems are actually going down. You don't really want sideways stems. There is DSP in this suite, but I'm not using it today, so I'm not going to show it to you. And then we've got these adhesive backed shiny sequins, and they're really pretty, and they are exactly what they say they are. They're shiny, and you've got them in the different colors. Okay, so that's something to look forward to on the 5th of March. And I am going to be doing a stamp camp with the suite with Maheshwari and Julia again. That's going to be on the 20th of April, so come back and check on the 5th of March and I'll give you all the information about that. Now, as per usual, I'm going to change up the colours that we're using. And, oh, for goodness sake, it looks like I've got everything here except my ink pad. Okay, alright, I've got a StazOn ink pad here. I don't really want this. Oh, no, here's my memento hiding away from me. Always have to not be able to find one thing, but there we go, found it. Alright, so first up, I'm going to stamp 4 of my flowers. And just in case you're wondering about the munch out of the bottom of the page here, I did that just so that I knew which one was my piece for stamping, because I just cut 1/4 of a sheet for this, so it's slightly bigger than my insert, and I didn't want to stamp on the wrong one and then have the insert not fitting in when I got there. Okay. And I'm going to stamp 2 of the leaves. Right. Now, for today, I actually suddenly thought, hang on a second, why am I doing this? Because what I normally do is colour and then have my other ones all cut and prepared, which yes, I have done that. But what I've also done is cut out 1 leaf and 1 flower, which hasn't been coloured yet. So starting with the leaves, I'm going with Granny Apple Green, and as per always, I don't do fancy colouring, so it's just with my dark going over those lines that are already there. And then I'm going to take the light and colour over, and I have to admit that I do think that having these pieces pre-cut out was a good idea for today, but I do find it easier to colour on a bigger sheet of paper and then cut it out. Okay. And then my flower, I'm going to colour with the light and dark Orchid Oasis. So starting with the dark, just going around the inside there. And there always has to be one thing. I just realized I don't have my wild wheat blend to do the middle, but that's okay. We can always just pop that in afterwards. And again, just going over the lines here. And I'm not terribly worried if it looks like it's a bit of a mess, because we're going to put the color over, and I want that dark, like at the tips, and mostly where the petals meet over here. So okay, so this is something that Stampin' Up! Does for us. If you're not one of those people that's really good at coloring, if you just darken where they've got darks and then color over, it works perfectly. Your flowers still look pretty. And this time I'm just using the brush tip to fill in the color. I have actually used the brush tip to add the dark bits as well, because I wanted to have that look where it's quite dark around the center, so it doesn't matter if I've used the fatter tip and not the fine tip. Alright, now just remember that this does dry lighter, but what I have done with these flowers is just gone and added a bit more dark over, just to add a bit more color. Okay, right, so that'll dry. It'll look a little bit better as it dries and the color changes. But here we go. I've then done one in Fresh Freesia and one in Blackberry Bliss, and my other one in the Orchid Oasis. And like I said, I just did Wild Wheat in the center, which I haven't done here. If you're interested in these colors, that was Flirty Flamingo, Berry Burst, and the Blackberry Bliss again. Okay, so easy as that. We're ready to start. Now, I've stamped those leaves in the corner and then gone and run it through the embossing folder. Now, this is one of those embossing folders where you can use either side. I hope you're going to be able to see that. So that's the one side of it where it's sort of going in, and that's, let's pull that in, that's the other side where it's coming out. Now sometimes the embossing folders work where one side looks much better than the other side. Here I found that they both work just as well, so you can choose a kind of whatever you feel like at the time that you can use. Okay. Now, hi Meshwari. You obviously missed me talking about you where I was telling everybody that we're doing the stamp camp together with this suite. So very excited about that. I haven't started designing my cards for that yet, but we'll get there very soon. Alright, so we're going to put that down and then decide what order we want our flowers. So let's just see, here I went with the middle color and then the light and the dark, and okay, let's go with the same thing. That looks okay. So this is stuck flat. And I'm going to stick one of my leaves here, just popping it underneath that flower. like I missed getting any glue on that leaf. Then my lighter flower is also going flat. And that one's going to go up on dimensionals, but I just want to see where we're positioning it so that I can put that leaf in first. And a couple of dimensionals behind here. Now, when I did this one, when I did that one, I actually stamped my leaves into the corner and then stuck my flower. But what I'm going to do this time, just to be different, is I'm going to just take one of these leaves that I've coloured and I'm going to put that into the corner here with my flower going over it. So the reason why I'm doing this with the cutout flower rather than stamping a flower is because of the leaves. I suppose that if you stamped carefully you could get it that the flower was just on the end of the leaves, but because I actually want the leaves a bit underneath the flower, I thought it wouldn't look as nice if it was stamped. And let's just trim that extra little bit of leaf off. And that can go inside. Right, now I've gone and stamped the sentiment just because I always get neurotic that I'm never going to be able to stamp it straight. So there we go. Now we're going to try and see if I can cut it straight. I really like this sentiment. I think that this is lovely for a card with flowers, you know, sending flowers and thinking of you. That's a really nice sentiment. So I'm cutting it off there. Nope, I'm cutting it off there. I want just the of you. And then we're going with and thinking and the sending flowers. Now, I really didn't want the sentiment taking up a lot of space on the card. And yeah, it is a long sentiment, so that's fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this and thinking again that there's not a lot of extra cardstock around the sentiment. And again, I'm just sticking this flat. I wanted sort of the big thing here to be the flowers, and everything else just obviously adds to the card, but I didn't want it to distract too much from those flowers. Oops. But it would be good if it actually stayed where I was put. I don't normally stick straight, but it doesn't go that crooked. Now, decision time. It's, like I said, these sequins are very pink, and I wasn't sure whether they would actually work with the purple, although I'm thinking that otherwise I've got my glossy dots which have the purple in it, but maybe those are a bit too purple. Okay, I'm going to change my mind and I'm not sure what colours these are actually. I need to check the colours, but I think that it looks okay if we go with these ones over here. Let's see. If I don't like it, I'll take it off, but holding it against it, it looked like that colour was okay. It sort of picks up the wild wheat in the centre. Oops, this one likes my nail. Sometimes it's just where you position things, because this one, I had the 3 and it looked like it needed an extra one, but I think that the 3 on that one looks fine. Okay, so there's our cards today in the 2 different colours, although I used the berry burst in both of those. So what do you think of those colour combinations? And do you prefer the pink or the purple? I don't know. This is hard. I think I kind of like them both. Alright, so that's what I'm showing you today. I will be back next week. Have a good week and see you next time. Bye.